Welcome back to the Super Boxing League as we get ready for an electrifying middleweight contest. Michael Hennessy, representing the Sharks, will take on the Afghani Tyson, Farhad Hazratzada from the Tigers. For the final introductions, let's go inside the ring with the voice, Jared Kyle.
Jeddah, make some noise for Farhad Hazratzada!
Welcoming to the Super Boxing League ring for the first time is the Afghani Tyson, Farhad Hazratzada. I have been watching this man's career for a long time, Nick, and I have not seen anyone more durable than him. He can take a punch like a warrior and dishes back heavy punishment on his own.
Yes, he can. Farhad Hazratzada is one of the more entertaining combat sports athletes you are going to find in the world today. He is a voracious marauder of a fighter, whether he is boxing or competing in mixed martial arts, and has dedicated the majority of his adolescent and adult life to competing against the best combat sports athletes he can find. He was a multi-time state-level gold medalist in boxing as an amateur, traveling across Afghanistan and India to hone his craft, and his journey as a professional boxer is just getting underway. He has very heavy hands, constant forward pressure, and an indomitable spirit.
Indomitable indeed, because we've seen this man take a pounding and come back.
And his opponent making his way to the ring, Michael Hennessy!
Masterminds.
Michael Hennessy making his way from England to the wonderful kingdom of Saudi Arabia here in Jeddah for Super Boxing League, and you can see the crowd react. The crowd is really loving the entire action here tonight, whether you're from here or from elsewhere. It's respect all across the board.
No doubt about it. And speaking of Michael Hennessy, though it may seem from the outside that being the son of a well-known and successful boxing promoter would make it easy to train and eventually compete in the sport as a young man coming up in the world, this wasn't necessarily the case for Michael Hennessy Jr. Not only did his father not want him to compete initially, he made him wait until the age 11 before he would lace up his gloves for the first time. And from there, it was a strict program of self-imposed challenges, zero shortcuts, and roughly 100 amateur bouts before Hennessy Jr. would make his pro debut.
I love the fact that you said he was thrown to the wolves, because there's no bigger wolf than Farhad Hazratzada.
No doubt about that.
As we go to the tail of the tape, Hennessy from the Sharks takes on Farhad from the Tigers. Both fighters weighed in approximately the same weight, but a huge reach advantage to the Brit.
Ladies and gentlemen, first we introduce the red corner, weighing in at 71.6 kilograms and standing at 5 feet 6 inches tall, hailing from Afghanistan, representing the Jeddah Tigers. Make some noise for Farhad, the Afghani Tyson, Hazratzada! And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. This fighter stands at 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighing in at 72 kilograms. Fighting out of the United Kingdom, representing the Jeddah Sharks. Give it up for Michael Hennessy! Ladies and gentlemen, as the action begins, the referee for the fight, Regina Pisadu.
I wish you both good luck and a fair and clean fight, okay?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be an interesting one in the middleweight division. Farhad Hazratzada from Afghanistan, representing the Jeddah Tigers, will take on Michael Hennessy, representing the Jeddah Sharks. And right now, Nick, the Sharks lead over the Tigers by only 1 point. And this is now a gimme fight. If either one of these men manage to knock each other out, they will take the lead.
Yeah, very pivotal matchup we've got right here. Farhad opening up in that marauding style like he always does. This fight is going to be a battle of range 2. So many are, but specifically this one, not just because of the reach advantage, but because of the style these guys have. Michael Hennessy is a more refined boxer. He's been doing this for a lot longer with better coaches. No disrespect to Farhad's upbringing, but if Farhad can stay on the inside and make it dirty like this,
exactly.
he can get in the head of Hennessy, and he's got plenty of power to do damage once he's there.
Absolutely. Farhad has all the power in the world. But you know what? That crippling reach might play a huge factor here. Farhad needs to close that distance and make this a brawl in a phone booth.
Here's an interesting aspect of this. With Hennessy's refined skills, he's also got a mean streak. His coach, Lee Wilkins, as an amateur, nicknamed him Miguel because he sometimes would go into that Mexican brawling style when he was training. So Michael Hennessy's not going to back up from a challenge, and we're seeing that in front of us right now.
No, but you know what? You never know, because we've seen Farhad Hazratzada in the phone booth, dirty boxing plenty of time, and this man's chin has held up under 4-ounce gloves in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, he's got granite in his face. You're not going to break his chin or his will. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely.
They did just headbutt a minute ago, but luckily neither fighter was hurt too bad. You hate to see cuts or anything bad happen from a headbutt. These guys are getting aggressive. Farhad caught him with a hook on coming out of that exchange.
Absolutely. Michael Hennessy here, though, taking his time, using his footwork to maintain that distance. Farhad Hazratzada will never quit. He's taking a few shots here. Michael Hennessy needs to keep that range.
He's trying to keep on the outside a little more now. Hennessy's got such tight form.
Beautiful
He's doing a
technique.
really good job of pumping that jab out and getting his fist back when he needs to. Comes over the top with the right hand, but Farhad showed excellent head movement to evade that punch.
Farhad has been training very, very hard.
I'm really pleased with Farhad's movement so far.
He is. He's looking a lot better than the last time we saw him inside that ring and the cage.
Absolutely.
He's been training with the right people. But Michael Hennessy here, you can see clearly the technique. There's a significant difference in the technique.
3-4 jabs in a row from Hennessy, and he's using that to find his range, and when he feels the range is right, he's opening up with the right hand. But so far, Farhad's been doing a good job of using head movement to stay away from the big cross coming through. But if he doesn't keep that up, he's going to be eating a piston.
Farhad, though, taking his time here. 30 seconds remaining in this opening round. Like you said, he is showing some good movement, but he's wading in. He's jumping into those strikes.
He is. But he's moving his head after he misses with his strikes, so he's not there for a counter. He's got to keep doing that. But Hennessy's slick himself. He's not eating much of anything right now from Farhad.
Hennessy staying very, very patient, very, very calm in this situation as we come to a close of round number 1.
A battle of skill so far. We'll see if it turns into a battle of will as this plays out.
It just might. You know what? Most battles that Farhad Hazratzada has turned into a battle of attrition, because that man will drag you into deep waters.
With these 4-round fights, somebody like Hennessy is going to have a lot of cardio to keep up. As we look at some of the replays right here, Farhad doing a good job of tying him up and then letting go, trying to land hooks. He's making it dirty, using the technique that he can to land some shots on the inside. But Michael Hennessy Jr. has been doing this since he was 11 with top-level boxers. You're going to be hard-pressed to put him in a position he doesn't have the correct offensive or defensive answer for.
Absolutely. Farhad Hazratzada, though, landed a couple of good shots there. But you know, like we always say this, it's a brawler versus a technician matchup here.
But you've got some brawl in Hennessy as well. And right now, he's doing a good job of not getting pushed back by the forward pressure and the aggression of Farhad.
Well, you know, you never know when that button clicks. Farhad might just goad him into it.
At any time.
As you see the score here, ladies and gentlemen, the Sharks lead 7-6. As we go to the bottom of this wonderful undercard that we've had here so far, the Tigers trail by 1 point, but TKO or KO here will seal the victory.
Farhad winging some heavy hooks on the inside, but none of them quite finding the spot he wants him to.
Now, he's not covering enough range. Hennessy is so far away. He's hitting him away from a block.
Hennessy just caught him with a stiff jab coming in. That's why Hennessy keeps pumping out these jabs. It's the best weapon you can use to stop somebody coming straight in trying to knock your head off your shoulder.
Absolutely.
You catch him with a stiff jab, it stops their momentum, and it certainly makes them question whether they want to come back in if you're anybody but Farhad Hazratzada.
Yes, absolutely. There's no amount of jabs that can stop Farhad Hazratzada. But you know what? This is a different fighter. This is a different ball game altogether. And sometimes technique will trump everything. A well-placed shot, we've said this time and time again, well-timed, well-placed shot can do tremendous amounts of damage.
It's crazy the composure that Hennessy has in this firefight when he's only got one pro bout. That was a huge overhand right that he just landed on Farhad.
Just got hurt. Like we said in the past, it's technique. It's the perfect shot. Farhad's eyes are a bit foggy here.
He's got to keep his hands up. He was dropping his hands. Part of that was because he got rocked.
Again, a big overhand right by Hennessy. Farhad's trying to fire back in the pocket.
Hennessy's just using skill to piece him up right now. Farhad's got to be careful with his defense and get his hands up before and after these strikes.
Farhad's not setting up that overhand right. He needs to start jabbing Hennessy, jabbing at Hennessy. But he knows the best chance he's got is in that clinch and in the pocket.
One thing that Hennessy's doing really well is he knows that Farhad's going to be waiting forward with hooks every time he comes in. And because of that, he slips his head forward so that the hooks are wrapping around the backside of his head. He doesn't have to worry about catching any of them clean.
Hennessy doing a good job avoiding damage here.
The rare jab from Farhad Hazratzada. It touched him.
It was more like a leaping jab, though.
Yes, it was.
Michael Hennessy staying calm as ever in the center as we're less than 1 minute in this second round remaining. Oh, comes over with the big left. And you can see there, Michael Hennessy looking to tag him back.
That's an overhand right that's got a lot of malicious intent on it. He caught him on the side of the head. That's the same one he caught him clean with earlier. And Farhad's leaving that opening there, and Hennessy's starting to time it. He's going to have to make an adjustment, is Farhad.
Well, he might be turning into Miguel any moment soon here.
He's not getting intimidated at all, and that's saying something for a young fighter in their second pro fight.
Definitely not. He's showing incredible composure. Oh! Huge combinations. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Both fighters landed in that exchange.
Wow, what a finish to that round. And Farhad, though, didn't blink an eye.
Game as ever, as we expected.
Now, this is the incredible thing here. When you land, if you're Michael Hennessy, you cracked him clean so hard.
Let's see if we see some of that here in the replays. There comes Farhad, slapping weight in those overhand hooks. He's not getting in right position to even put any horsepower on him. Here comes an overhand right that finds the mark. He landed that punch several times in this round, and he's starting to find the range for it. Here comes another one.
That was the start of that combination. Michael Hennessy, just perfect technique, and this is where he went to work. Boom, boom, boom.
Again, the same technique. They're not always landing, but they're landing at a high percentage. Farhad's got to make an adjustment. There's a nice body shot with that cross, too. Switching up the levels of that cross after the jab, and it lights him up with 3 punches before Farhad blocked anything.
That was an incredible flurry, and Farhad took those all on the chin clean.
He did.
Just goes to show. But you know what? Michael Hennessy's cardio is on point. He looks fresh. And Farhad Hazratzada as well. I've never seen him tire. Hennessy doing a good job circling out, taking his head off that center line. A little more purpose in that step of Farhad Hazratzada, who realizes he might be trailing in points. Man,
Hennessy,
jab is
I know.
money,
I was just about to talk about that. So stiff, so quick. He's able to throw 2, 3 in a row with lightning fast speed and accuracy. Very impressive stuff from Hennessy.
Just a great job. It's incredible thinking this is just his second pro bout.
I know, man. What a bright future. I mean, this is one enormous test he's got in front of him right now, regardless of the size disadvantage. Farhad's heart and will compensate greatly for anything he lacks in size in this matchup.
I couldn't agree more. We've seen Farhad take on bigger opponents. We've seen Farhad take on more skilled opponents, but not for a second was there an inch of quit in him.
Farhad's opened up with some nice, tight combinations on the inside. He's keeping his feet underneath him, and he's not leaning his head down. He's keeping a more appropriate range, and because of that, he landed some better shots. It's a good adjustment he's making.
You can see his coaches yelling out, screaming out. Muhammad, his head coach of the Tigers, screaming out instructions at Farhad.
Good counter left hook from Farhad. He's starting to find his range, and then a right hand clips him. Farhad's starting to get aggressive. He's starting to feel the energy.
Farhad is feeling it here. He's trying to turn it around here, and Michael Hennessy, for once, is starting to back up. It's that overwhelming pressure that Farhad puts on you again. Lands a short hook of his own.
It does look like Hennessy's starting to tire from dealing with this insanely aggressive fighter in front of him, and lands another slapping left hook coming out of the pocket.
This is Farhad's MO. He comes at you, and he will keep coming at you with huge hooks. And Farhad right now is definitely putting some pressure on that young man.
Will not move backwards for a second.
Just doesn't, man. That can be ridiculously intimidating.
He even has malicious intent with his footwork, not just with his hands, man. This dude's out to do damage, and he's the nicest guy you will ever meet in the world. It's crazy the switch he's able to turn on.
It's ridiculous. Once he's inside the ring or that cage shuts, he's a different animal. Wow. What an exchange there again.
I'm not sure what the mouthpiece flew out. That's why the ref stopped the action.
Oh, yeah, Farhad lost his mouthpiece. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I thought that was the end of the round though. But no, what a round. We've just got a little less than a minute to go in this third round, and I would say Farhad has turned it up. Let's look at the replay here.
Headbutt.
That was a bit of a headbutt. No, that was the left hook that knocked it out though.
Clean left hook.
Farhad did blink an eye though.
Never does.
Here we go, action cut. That was a bit of a headbutt though, I think.
That's going to happen when you got two people coming at each other like these gentlemen in front of us. These not so gentlemen in front of us right now.
But yeah, the action continues. 30 seconds remaining in this third round. Michael Hennessy, though, looking to send out that stiff jab. But you were right. You know what? His style is super frustrating because he keeps coming at you. He keeps coming at you, and he will land these short shots.
Yeah. His cardio is insane, too, to be able to keep up this pace.
Incredible. Michael Hennessy tried to make him work, but you can see there his technique, though. His hands are by his waist now.
He's just winging, doing everything he can to try to get some momentum going back his way. Farhad did a better job with some combinations midway through in this round.
Absolutely, and you know what? I feel the tide is turning because I think that Farhad might have won this round.
It was a very close one, but it's entirely possible. Here we see Farhad come in with a jab to cross combination. Nothing lands clean, but keep throwing until that hook lands at the end of that 5-punch combination. We see Michael Hennessy setting him up with some range. Farhad waiting on the inside, actually catches him with an elbow.
Yeah, that looks like a bit of an elbow.
As he's coming forward, throwing the kitchen sink at him, literally.
But you know what? Farhad Hazratzada has controlled the center far better this time. His footwork looked a lot better, and he was aggressive. I think that talking to by his coach helped a lot in this third round, and I think he knows that he lost his first 2 rounds.
Absolutely.
He might be looking to make up that deficit.
Sorry to interrupt you. One of the things he's got to do is when he comes to the inside and gets in range, he can't dip his head and put his head into his chest. He's got to keep that close range with his head slightly up and chin tucked and throw tight combinations.
Michael Hennessy again with that triple jab, trying to establish that range. That worked beautifully for him in the first 2 rounds. But Farhad Hazratzada making this a dogfight. Oh, big
left hook.
Beautiful left hook. Both men landing again.
I got sweat flying all over me over here from these shots bouncing off each other's heads.
Beautiful combination by Hennessy there. Lands one to the head, goes multiple times to the body.
Nice step to the left and pivot off of that left check hook. He caught Farhad with it and got right out of range.
Farhad showing some good head movement of his own there, slipping that jab perfectly from Hennessy.
Warning about grabbing the glove. Beautiful leap in left hook from Farhad.
That's been working for him all night since the last round. Beautiful shots he's landing. You know, and I like the thing about Farhad, if he can't find your head, he's going to hurt you anywhere else.
He will hit your ankle, your elbow, anything he can put his hand on. Oh, they both land at the same time, but that was a nice hook from Farhad.
But I think Farhad is definitely the fresher fighter as he's turning it on at this midway point.
I can't say enough about Michael Hennessy's gameness.
No,
to have this test right now.
No, there's nothing to be taken. Michael Hennessy is in second pro bout. He's taking on an absolute warrior in Farhad Hazratzada, and his composure is incredible.
Huge right hand from Farhad coming forward. That would hurt him.
But Michael Hennessy's got a chin on him, I'll say that.
Miguel is alive and well, even though he just got ripped with that right hand.
He's got a small welt under that eye now. There's Michael Hennessy. But Farhad Hazratzada seems to be in the zone here. He's landing more strikes. But there you go. See, that's that beautiful jab by Hennessy to maintain that range. But the minute Farhad gets into the pocket, he really certainly does some damage before he leaves.
Nice double jab.
Beautiful jabs.
Another jab stopping his forward pressure. That's what Hennessy's got to do.
Hennessy doing a great job now, trying to keep Farhad away from him. Farhad looking to leap in with that leaping hook.
I'd like to see Hennessy lead with the right hand too. He's leading with his jab every time. If Hennessy would lead with the right hand,
beautiful jab there.
He might be able to catch him coming in.
Oh, beautiful 1-2. Michael Hennessy, perfect technique, lands that beautifully. Farhad Hazratzada though, straight back at him, trying to clinch and land some shots to the body. 20 seconds remaining in this fight as both these men have given it their all. Farhad Hazratzada pushing the action, but Michael Hennessy, like you said, Nick, an absolute gamer.
No doubt about it. He's got a lot to be proud of, and these two are still going toe to toe.
Incredible.
Blow for blow.
10 seconds remaining in this fourth and final round, and Farhad Hazratzada trying to seal it as we come to a finish. What a great fight between both these men, Michael Hennessy and Farhad Hazratzada. Let's take a look at the highlights of this wonderful fight. But you know what? Neither of these men have anything to be worried about. They put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, they absolutely did. As we look at some of the replays, there's that stiff jab. Farhad coming in, winging punches, showing some decent head movement. Hennessy trying to keep his range, trying to keep Farhad off of him with the jab once again.
But you know
Farhad
what?
bobbing and weaving when he can. Farhad unloading with a left hook. Nice block of that punch by Hennessy coming in.
But
Hennessy standing his ground, framing him out with that right arm. And again, Farhad just aggressively trying to find any opening he can, but I don't think he found enough openings throughout the duration of this fight.
Some of those short hooks look like elbows, Nick, seriously. But Michael Hennessy rallied back so beautifully at the end of that round with those beautiful jabs.
He did. As we see Farhad wade forward with a jab and a cross of his own, but he's just too close. If he would have kept a little bit more distance on the inside, he would have been able to catch him on the inside of his punch, or the outside of his punches.
Absolutely, and what a treat has been for this wonderful crowd here in Jeddah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as we have a packed house here. Look at that, Nick.
Yeah,
so many fans coming out to support all the fighters.
This is by far the biggest and most exciting boxing event that's been put on in this country ever, and they're showing up in droves, and it's what energy we have in this building tonight.
Well, it's the Super Boxing League Jeddah season, that's why.
No doubt about it. Nobody brings it like Super Boxing League. You know what? This is a growing up experience for Michael Hennessy.
Absolutely.
His first fight was not nearly the test of will and heart that this one was. This man, this young fighter became a man in the ring tonight against Farhad Hazratzada. He's got a lot to be proud of. Farhad has got a lot to obviously build upon moving forward, but considering the pedigree of Michael Hennessy and what he was able to accomplish in here, there's no doubt that he's gonna go home, put the pieces together that he needs to refine some of his technique and come back a better fighter.
Absolutely, Michael Hennessy has done the work here, according to me. Farhad Hazratzada is a stiff test for many, many experienced fighters as well, as we've seen across our careers, working with the Super Boxing League and the Fight League. And Michael Hennessy, though, did a fantastic job. He handled that perfectly. He came in with a great strategy. He knew Farhad was a brawler, kept him at range, kept him at distance, and I think has done enough, in my opinion,
he has as well,
to win this fight.
Almost exclusively with that jab, too. I mean, it's such an amazing weapon when you have the timing and the right snap on it, and he showed us that.
All right, let's quickly go inside the ring for the final decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of action here at the King Abdullah Sports City, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Ingo scored the bout 38-38. Judge Mauricio Ronaldo scored the bout 38-38. Judge Rene scored the bout 39-37, resulting in this fight being a draw.
Wow.
Obviously, the judges thought the forward pressure for Farhad was enough to have him win a round or two, and we end up with a draw.
Rounds, my friend. Those last 2 rounds that Farhad turned it up.
It was definitely a close fight.
Absolutely.
Nobody was robbed with this decision.
No.
You hate to see a draw at any point, but it was close enough in the judges' eyes to warrant a draw, and we can't argue with their decision.
And you can see now, again, they were 6-7, and now the Sharks lead 8-7. It's incredible.